Hello and welcome, one and all, shark fans! This is your favorite media overlord, Vox. Let's celebrate Hump Day of Shark Week with a feature-length video on my favorite subject in the whole wide world, sharks! Sharks are misunderstood predators looking for their spot in the world, which is on top of the food chain. Most species of these prehistoric wonders are on the top of their predation bracket than not, with few natural enemies to go toe-to-toe with. Fish are food, not friends. Humans have lately put a bad rap sheet on sharks, which is quite unfortunate when you think about it. Thanks to movies like Jaws and the culture of making these misunderstood creatures into villainous man-eating monsters, most shark species were hunted into the endangered status over the years. These fish were here since the very early days of life on Earth, and because of their design was so effective, rarely it branched out into further evolutionary trees to continue to climb to their energy consumption and survival ratios. They are literally one of the world's oldest and most perfect organisms. Wow! This video will be split into 3 parts. General shark facts that I think everyone should know, freeloading fin risers that attach themselves to greatness, and the sad state of affairs with preserving the species. Sharks are ancient, boneless fish known for their cartilage skeletons, sandpaper-like skin, and the ability to replace thousands of teeth. Over 500 species exist, ranging from the tiny dwarf lantern shark to the massive whale shark. They have no true bones, ladies and gentlemen. Their skeletons are made of light, flexible cartilage, the same stuff that the human nose tip or ears are made out of. Their skin is very much like sandpaper to the touch. Tiny tooth-like scales called dermal denticles cover their bodies to reduce water friction. They're also incredibly super sensitive. Their senses are off the charts! They're literally daredevil! Special black spots near their nose and mouth, called the ampullae of the Lorenzi, help them sense electric fields in the ocean. Electric fields. Record-breaking facts are coming up. Did you know that they are the world's oldest survivors? Sharks have lived in the ocean for more than 450 million years, surviving 5 major mass extinctions. They're also the longest-lived species on the planet. The Greenland shark can live for hundreds of years, making it the longest-living vertebrate on Earth. The biggest fish, obviously, in the sea as well, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that the whale shark can grow up to 40 feet long and weigh as much as 40 tons? With a unique spot pattern like a human fingerprint. How's that for Identity Crisis 101? Now here's a few other facts for you kids. Let's go into their anatomy a little bit. Sharks breathe underwater the same way that other fish do. They use their gills to get oxygen out of the water. To begin the process, a shark draws water into its mouth and lets the water pass over its gills. You know, kind of like that one guy, the Deep from the Boys show. Most fish only have 1 gill opening to let the water out, but sharks usually have about 5. Some sharks have 6 or 7. As the water passes over the gills, it comes into contact with many small blood vessels. Most of the water in the sea has oxygen in it. As the water contacts the blood vessels, the oxygen moves through the water into the shark's blood. It is a similar way that your lungs draw oxygen into your blood from the air that you breathe. It's absolutely crazy. Shark teeth are made in the same way as their denticles, if you could believe it. That's why they can replenish them ad nauseum. Your teeth are made the same way too, however, unlike sharks, you obviously have a limited number. There's a pulp cavity in the middle, covered by dentine, the hard enamel on the outside. The front fins of most fish are flexible and can be moved in many different directions, but the front fins of most sharks are stiff and can be only moved in a few directions. These fins are called pectoral fins. That's right. Hit the gym and hit those pecs, am I right? They are stiffened with rods of cartilage that are very, very tough. The edges are very sharp, and by changing the angle of these fins, a shark can swim up or down. So, think of it like a rudder on an airplane. That's pretty crazy, and also super neat. A few personal facts about, of course, the apex predator that lives today, the great white shark. Did you know that the great white shark can detect blood from 3 miles away? Remember that ampullae thingamadooter I was talking about? Told you they were super sensitive. You can find them in the Guadalupe Island on Mexico, Ganzabay, South Africa, or the Farallon Islands, right off the coast of California. They can swim up to 35 miles per hour. That is like a freaking torpedo. And the fact that they weigh over 2 tons with an average of 5,000 pounds a pop, it's like getting hit by a big truck. You don't want to mess with these mothers, and you wonder why folks like Spielberg made a film out of them. Absolutely crazy. It can be lonely at the top. A lot of folks have probably seen those little guys attached to the fins, or on the eyeballs of the elderly Greenland shark, gnawing it away at what these guys hunt for survive. You know, that energy that propels evolution. It's natural to evolve with the grain, so here are some examples of how nature itself likes to coattail ride on the big fish of the sea. Sharks host many different kinds of parasites, including external copepods, internal tapeworms, and even parasitic barnacles. Some sharks, like the cookie cutter shark, even act as parasites themselves by biting chunks out of larger animals. First on the docket are remoras, ladies and gentlemen. They could be considered freeloaders. Even though they're fine swimmers on their own, they evolved sucker discs on the top of their heads to attach themselves to the host and hitch a ride on sharks or other large marine animals like rays, whales, and turtles. They also eat their host's leftovers, or possibly their, poo-poo, and enjoy protection from predators by living on a large animal. Because remoras cause no damage to their shark host, they're not really considered parasitic, but the relationship isn't symbiotic either, since sharks don't get much back from remoras, unless, of course, sharks find amusement in the fish's odd, upside-down disc-shaped heads. Remarkably, remora suckers evolved over time from their dorsal fins. That's pretty neat. Did you know that there is a shark tapeworm literally called the shark tapeworm? You know, tapeworms are not the most appetizing of subjects, so imagine having one named for you. Dave Ebert, research associate at the Academy and director of the Pacific Shark Research Center, recently received that honor. His colleagues have bestowed the name Trilocularia eberti, say that 3 times fast, for a new species of cestode, or tapeworm, described in a recent article. T. eberti is a shark parasite. No kidding. Part of a specialized group of cestodes that appeared to parasitize. We're gonna leave that blooper in for funsies and authenticity, am I right, YouTube? Of the shark genus Squalus, commonly known as a spiny or sour dogfish, spur dogfish, residing in the intestinal valve of said shark. Ebert is currently working on a description of said shark discovered in South Africa. T. eberti is pretty special, as long as it's the only second member of its genus to be named. Here's a few more facts coming at you hard. Let's see here. The eye-dwelling copepod that I had mentioned earlier, the Omatacoita elongata, not to be confused with the medulla oblongata, is a specialized worm-like crustacean that attaches to the corneas of Greenland sharks and Pacific sleeper sharks, feeding on their tissue. And you have skin and gill copepods, species such as Anthosoma crassum and Pandarus sinatitis cling to the skin, fins, and gills of fast-swimming sharks like the great white, sometimes causing heavy tissue damage or breathing issues. And of course, like everything under the sea, you're gonna have barnacles attaching yourself to your butt. Anathasma swecchiola embeds its stalk directly into the flesh of deep-water lantern sharks to absorb nutrients, which can affect the shark's health and, of course, its reproduction. I mean, if I had something stabbing me repeatedly, I don't think that would be really good to set the mood. Cookie cutter sharks. These small dogfish are often considered temporary ectoparasites because they just use specialized suction cups and razor-sharp teeth to carve plug-shaped chunks of flesh out of larger marine mammals, bony fish, and other sharks without killing them. Pretty parasitic in my opinion. Eat or be eaten. We often misconstrue that concept into forms of competition, displays of ambition, when all it really means is adaptation, making the most of an ever-changing environment. Sharks have been painted as much more dangerous than they are. You can literally go down in cages and interact with great whites, or stop moving and stare down a tiger shark if it tails you. These are creatures of instinct, which actually consider humans anomalous more than prey. Are you a sea turtle? Are you a seal? No? Of course not! Most sharks have never seen a human diving before in their entire lives, and more still probably never will. But unfortunately, the fact is in the pudding, and the proof is astronomical. We really need to consider preserving the natural order of things in the oceans, because sharks, ladies and gentlemen, are in severe peril. With global populations of oceanic sharks and rays dropping by more than 70% in the last 50 years, their populations cannot replenish quickly, as they grow slowly and take many years to mature and produce very few pups. Approximately 73 million sharks are killed globally every year, largely driven by the high demand for shark fins. Additionally, many are killed as unintentional bycatches in commercial longline and net fisheries. With over 30% of shark species threatened with extinction, their life loss is directly threatening the health of our marine ecosystems. It's unfortunate. It really is. So please, let people be aware that sharks are your friends, you are not their food, and much, much more. Lord knows that we should probably get on it. I mean, look at it this way. Look at what we're doing in the United States right now. You know that shark fin soup is illegal here in the continental U.S.? Neither did I, until a few nights ago. Thanks, Amanda. Ha! So yes, remember, sharks are absolutely your friends. Thank you all again for tuning in to this very special Vox Tech Midweek presentation about my favorite subject! If you made it to the end of this broadcast, seriously, you're a real one. Thank you. And if you like what we do here with our voice acting, parody songwriting, puppeteering, and much, much more, leave a like and a subscribe. We are stronger with you than we are without you. Vox Tech! Trust us with, well, us!